so you can, so everyone can see it. And okay, as you can see from our video, maybe you could get it. Our project is about composting, and this is how we not so much started composting in our school, but we saved it because it used to be there, but it was not functional. And also, our project is about vermiculture. And for those who might not know, vermiculture is composting but using worms. Okay, and our project is myself and Alejandro Reyes, my partner, myself, Rojas, and we united our project with their project. It's about planting, and their G1 sale and Annabelle Bauman. Okay.
So, inspiration. So, how we got inspired with this project was that we got it in the last GIN conference in Quito. The students from ERJ, which is another school, international school, they were presenting about their project, and it wasn't actually started, but they were presenting what they wanted to do in the future, a little bit about how compost works and everything. And that's how we wanted to start. That's like we heard about it, we saw it, and we really liked it, and we wanted to start it in our school. So, composting, as my partner mentioned before, our school had been previously kind of done, and there were several attempts to do it, but it was never truly started. What we did was, as he said, save it. So we restarted the project, and there was already a place where compost was before made, and what we added to the project was vermiculture. So compost is pretty much the breaking. So you use organic material, you break it down through microbes or microorganisms. Vermiculture does the same things, but with worms. In this case, we use red Californian worms. So it has many advantages. One of the things that is really good about it is that you can do it indoors or outdoors, depending on how you want to do it. It can be done year-round, and it can be done in several temperatures. It's not harmful. There's no hazardous material that will kill you if you do compost. You won't die one day because you do compost. And it's a lot cheaper because if you use expensive fertilizers that are chemical, it's a lot more expensive than using organic material that has been composted. So this was how it was before in our school. It was plants growing in it. It was big chunks of wood. It was this mess. And what we did was we took the plants out. We started to break down the wood so everything could, start to work. And then we donated our compost to the gardener of the school, so he could do more gardening in our school.
And now we're going to talk about the worms. And the worms were practically a really challenge because it was not easy to find worms. And after searching for not literally searching, but we tried and asked a lot of people to get the worms, and we could find them. They were not that expensive. There were 300 bees for 2.5 kilograms of worm. That's about the weight it was. And this could be $3.75 at the official rate of the dollars, or at the non-official rate of the dollars, or it could be $26.5 at the official rate.
There's something in Venezuela, like there's the official rate that nobody actually uses it. It's just like for official stuff. And then there's the black market that everybody uses it. There's a big gap between those two prices.
Yeah. Para atrás. Una. Adelante. One more. Okay. Worms. Why are they good for the compost? Worms will eat what's in your compost and your compost pile, and it will be vermiculture is practically compost and vermiculture because the normal composting process will be done, but also the worms will break down the foods that are in your compost bin, and each worm will eat half of its own weight in compost. So it will process half of its own weight into done product daily. Okay. And these worms can live practically anywhere on the planet. Their temperature range is really big for an animal. It's from 0 degrees Celsius to 40. And this means that they can live and be able to do compost in practically many places, inside almost everywhere, and outside in most of the places in the world. But their ideal temperature is from 14 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. And their ideal temperature is just like us when we're studying. That's the ideal. Like if it's too hot when we're studying, we're not going to get the same work done. We'll get distracted. It's just with the worms. If it's too hot, they're not going to compost as much.
And mainly also what I think that temperature range means is the reproduction rate. When they're in that set of temperature, the reproduction rate is a lot higher than when they go below that or higher than that.
Okay. And something important is that their droppings, it's way more nutritive when it goes out than when it goes in. It has 5 times more nitrogen when it goes out, and 7 times more phosphorus, 5 times more potassium, and 2 times more calcium than when it's in. When it has more when it's dropped out than when it comes in. Okay. And something important is that if they're exposed to the sun a lot, they will die. And after a few minutes of being in the sun alone without any type of protection, they will die. And they can live up to 5 years. So this is very important because worms reproduce fast. And because they can live for so long, that means that the population will grow and grow a lot every year. Okay. And something that's different about the worms is that they breathe through your skin. And this is very important because this also helps to aerate the soil for plants later. And because while they're moving, they do need that space where they can breathe through their skin. Okay. And they're hermaphrodites. This means that there's no male nor female. That means that any worm can reproduce with each other without mattering if it's male or female, because that doesn't exist in their world. And every time they reproduce, they will lay 1 egg. And from that egg, up to 20 worms can be born. Okay. This project, we started it, but we have some hopes for it for the future. And that hope is mainly to get more people involved, because right now we're only 2 people are big time involved and working on it, not daily but a lot. And when we want more people to help, we don't want it only to be 2 people. We want it to be not the whole school, but a bigger group.
And one of the things that we want to do through that, involve more people, is involve elementary kids, because they're more open to do things like that than high school or middle school students.
Okay. And another one of our goals is to be able to compost 100% of the cantina waste, because normally, right now, we can maximum compost about 50% of the waste, and we're a really small school, so that's not that much. And we want to reach 100%, and so that all the food that we throw out, all the organic food we throw out, and it's able to be composted. We want we want to compost it so it can be used in the future for growing new food.
And another thing about having like elementary students is that this can become kind of like a tradition, because we were leaving school in 2 or 3 years, depending on our age, probably like 2 years, 1 year. But like if we involve elementary students, it would be kind of, like it would be for many more years, and the project can continue going.
Okay, so hey, this is Juwan and I'm Annabella, and our project is about gardening, and it's called The Seeds of Our Future, and it's linked to theirs because we both want to work with the elementary kids. Okay. So our idea for this project was to do gardening with plastic or water bottles, and in that way, like teach elementary kids to take care of the environment. So we want to create a garden and use the water bottles, and with the elementary kids, like also teach them how to reuse the materials through the use of creativity and create a sustainable way of gardening. And the purpose was basically to make it fun for them so they can enjoy it and basically learn with it about the environment and get involved in the community and also, learn about it. And in that way, we want to raise awareness in our school about sustainability and consumerism, because basically what gardening means is to produce like your own food, and also by means of deforestation, like reforesting plants and the value of our environment, like we want to teach that to them too. The two global issues that we're going to discuss about in our presentations are deforestation and plastic pollution. So we basically brought together 4 effects of deforestation that were like really notable in our world, and one of them is, for example, that is asphyxiating like our lungs. It's also caused an increase of carbon dioxide in our world's atmosphere. It also means the loss for habitats, like for animals and for indigenous people as well, like in developing countries. Foibles of plastic pollutions are that the animals can choke by swallowing plastic materials and they can die. And the beautiful beaches are polluted by plastics, and when you walk along the beach, and then there are lots of trashes. And the non-plastic in this world has been decomposed yet, and the plastic contains toxic chemicals and that is harmful to our environment. The benefits to our communities are we can embellish our campus and we can make it like more better. And then we can inspire students through use of creativity of using the water bottles as the pots for the plants. And then we can supply the container with organic ingredients for them to cook, and it's healthy for us to eat. And we can instill a sustainable way of living to our people. And then we can make our campus air more clean. And these are the pictures that will they look like. And these are we're gonna use the plastic bottles, and then this is how it will look like our inspiration, like what we thought we could make it like. And like the water bottles would be like stacked on top of each other, and we would do like a watering decantation system. You can use compost, sand, soil, and you basically like make little holes so it dips like the water, and it waters one plant through the other. And you can plant anything you want, maybe salad, tomatoes, or you can put the plants or also put the seeds to let them grow, but it will take more time. So our next steps are we have to advertise it to our community and let them know that we're doing this project. And then we're gonna talk to the gardener and discuss our ideas with them. And then we're gonna join with other groups such as MAC project, which is Make a Change project, and there are 2 groups it's the project that is same as ours, and we can join with them, and then that will be more helpful to our community. And we have to start collecting materials such as the water bottles and materials that we need for our project. And we have to let the elementary kids or kindergartners to decorate the water bottles so that they can have fun and enjoy. So basically, the materials we will need for this project are like the water bottles, of course, but to make the watering and the decantation system, we will need soil, sand to filter the water, like the water bottles, which can either be from 1 liter or the big water bottles, which are like 5 liters, a cutter to make the holes, and then either the seeds or the plants, depending on like which ones you think best. And well, that's why we need the students to donate the plastic bottles. And it's really easy. Why the seeds of our future? Because little kids represents future, and it can open their minds, that creativity to reuse materials, and then they can understand the importance of being in touch with the environment and caring. And well, like she said, like teaching them in this way, it's like also representing like a healthy and a new sustainable way of living that we want to teach to our future generations. And well, it's very important to like maintain like the safety of our environment and to well, improve our life standards as well. Thanks for your attention.
And do you have any questions or comments?
So the worms, how much time have you been involved with this project?
With the worms, it hasn't been that long. It's been like 1.5 months top, something like that. But we had a problem with the worms because like we got them and they were alive. But one day we simply came to school and we opened and were like 70% of the worms were dead. We didn't know why.
Right.
We didn't know, and like we replanted them and they were fine. Right.
And also, like about how much portion of soil do you use in able to so that your project like works?
And can you repeat the question?
Like how much, about how much amount of soil do you like
Produce.
produce?
Like with the worms, we still have not like produced well enough soil because with the deaths of the worms, we had to like start over. So we haven't produced with the worms, but with the compost, we did produce. It was because the compost bin before it had like compost, but it was like 50% done. So we like re-watered it, like mixed it, and after like one a little bit more than a month, it was already ready to be planted, and it was used to plant some plants in the school. And yeah.
How fast do the worms you produce, like you can have more worms faster, be able to regenerate more soil?
And
The thing is like for every 30 days or something like that, 1,400.
yeah, it's simply for it to be faster, you just have to wait for more and more worms to like reproduce, and for your like you be able to compost more and more food, and simply you just have to wait because the more worms you have, the faster it will be regenerate. And you
Oh, how are you going to take the compost out of the compost bins without taking the worms with them? Let's say, how do you separate the worms from the compost?
Yeah, and you to do that, it's like not actually that hard. You get your compost bin and you put a like cardboard paper. It's soaked, and the worms will go up and it'll stick to it. Also, you can use like fruits such as melon, because like worms are attracted to certain types of fruit. And it's like melon and cucumber, and all the worms will move to where that fruit is. So you can get like a portion of the soil where that fruit is after like a day, and there most of the worms will be there. And also like the rest of the soil that does have the worms, it doesn't matter because the worms are good for the plants because it aerates the soil and it like makes more air go inside, and the plants it's useful when the plants have more air in the soil. Anything else? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Is there any other, like, what you using gray compost for your?
Yeah. Like that's how our projects are linked together.
Can you tell us about the education part of it? Because you had, you guys talked about teaching the younger kids. What are you going to do for that?
Well, if we want to start gardening with them, then we would basically like not only use their compost, but like teach them how to plant a seed, because there's certain ways you have to do it, or put a plant, or like water it every twice a week or 3 times a week, and you have to like teach little kids how to do it, and that's important. Like to maintain the garden going, and maybe also do like a greenhouse or like as a future project, that would be cool.
So for your school, are you like opening like a spot for like gardening classes?
Yeah. Mainly with 5th graders, because with
They're more
really little
responsible
kids,
and
it's hard. So
Anything else?
Suggestions maybe?
Like suggestions.
Yeah.
Let me think a little bit.
Wait, I do have a question. You
Oh.
guys, yeah.
Maybe you could add some videos to your presentation to make it more dynamic and to add some depth to it, understand? Like showing you getting the worms into the compost and all that.
Yeah, like we like for taking the worms, like it usually when the worms come, they just come in like a big bag and you just pour them in the where you're gonna compost. So like that, it would not like be something like interesting to watch. I think like if it was like separating the worms or something like that, I think it would be something more interesting and more like for more people can learn. But simply getting worms from a bag and pouring it into soil, it's not like the most interesting thing to watch.
This is our question. You guys said in your presentation like deforestation affects animals and humans, people. How is like that fit into planting?
because what we want to teach the little kids is not only like locally, like put the plant in there and let's get a garden started. But what is going on in the world? Like why does this matter? Because the world is polluted with plastic bottles. So we want to teach them how to reuse the materials in a way. Although Manuel Macria said it's not pretty useful, but well, to give it some like creative value, to like how to use our creativity. And then like deforestation, like many trees are being cut down. And like we could have future activists like planting trees or like to give them that incentive.
I really like the idea, like you put out your project together when you was like initially not going to. Very good.
That's it.
I guess